Da 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 da. Welcome to RPG Ranked, the channel where all your favorite RPGs are ranked. What's up, Paper Mario fans? This is Brighton Nelson from RPG Ranked. I make RPG videos from Paper Mario to Final Fantasy to other popular games, or unpopular games in the case of like Blue Dragon, that I'll be making soon and stuff. But if you do like RPGs, please like and subscribe and ring the notification bell. I take requests, and I would love to make a video based on an RPG that you love. Alright, let's get right into this video. Let's not waste any time, because I usually do that. Alright, let's go. So we have S, A, B, C, and D, and we have all the chapters here from Paper Mario 64. And let's get started. I will be including the prologue, because it kind of is like its own chapter in this game. It is pretty dang long, so... And anyway, speaking of the prologue, I am going to put it in D. It is a good prologue. It is a good prologue. It could be a lot better. I don't think it's the best prologue a game has ever had, but it's fun, it's nice, it gives you Goombario, it gets you right into the game. And honestly, it does its job. It's horrendous on a replay, though, because you don't have action commands, and that's just awkward. It just doesn't feel right to have a Paper Mario game without action commands. But, I mean, the Goomba King fight is fun enough. The Goomba Village is kind of fun, I guess. It's okay. I don't really ever want to play it again, though. Like, I'm not a big fan. But it's fine. It's a good prologue. It introduces the game well enough. It's just not close to as fun as these other chapters. And, yeah. All right. It's not really a chapter. But, yeah. Chapter 1 is going to be... What did I say for these things? I am so dumb. I forgot to write the tiers. It is... Oh, right. It's just 2 per tier. That would make sense, except for... Yeah, 2 per tier. All right, let's do that. Where'd it go? Oh, chapter 1. Yeah, B tier. Right. Sorry. Totally lost my train of thought there. Okay. There are some fun things about this chapter. It is a great introductory chapter. It is much better than the prologue in introducing the game. The Koopa Bros are hilarious. They're basically just the Ninja Turtles, and it's really fun. I am still so frustrated that they gave us Junior Troopa again instead of the Koopa Bros the second time. You want to know what would have been epic? Both. Back to back. Boss Gauntlet. I would have loved that. It would have been great. Like, would have destroyed the Koopa Bros, and then he would have been like, haha, I got you, and Junior Troopa would have came in, and yeah, it could have actually been a challenge for once, Junior Troopa, because we could have been weakened from the Koopa Bros. But anyway, that's besides the point. I just had to get that out there, because I'm sure you all agree with me on that. What I do love about this chapter is it is the one chapter you get 2 partners. That was really cool, and there were like... I really did like the Koopa Bros Fortress. It was a good... It wasn't as good as like Hooktail's Castle, but it was still really fun. The Koopa Bros were great. The Koopa Village was fun to get Kooper and stuff, and I do like... yeah, I'm mostly just... It's a good intro. It's good. It's B tier. There's not really anything like bad about it per se, except... something that happened, except that you don't get to fight the Koopa Bros again. That's the only thing I don't like, but that doesn't have to do with this chapter. But I like that you get Kooper and Bombette, and it just makes the game a lot more fun when you have like 3 partners right from the get-go instead of like in Thousand Year Door when you have only 2. So that is, I just love that you get 3 partners and that it's a fun, solid chapter. It's really good. Let's move on. All right, chapter 2. I really like chapter 2. A tier for sure. I like the whole like getting Parakarry's letters part. I like it doesn't feel like a bad fetch quest because I actually do like that area. There's a unique mini boss in that area, the buzzard, that weird bird thingy, whatever its name is. I don't really know what it's called. I do really like that you get to fight a mini boss. You don't get that in all the chapters. You don't get that in... I mean, I'm not going to count Junior Troopa because that's just its own thing. But I'm glad that you get to fight a mini boss there. Parakarry is a very fun character to use at the beginning of the game. He sucks later, like worst partner for sure later in the game, but he is fun at first. It's nice to get another partner. Let's see, what is there to say? So yeah, that's that section. It is a good opening section to the chapter. And then after that whole train thing, you get the desert. And the desert is like, it feels like a desert where it's expansive and there's a bunch of different places to explore, but it also doesn't feel like a hassle. We get introduced to Colorado and stuff. And it just doesn't really feel like a hassle to me to go through it, because there is that path, like, you know that you can just go to the town if you want, but you can also explore the desert. And I mean, the hidden secret is a little bit underwhelming, but there are a lot of fun parts about this desert. Like, it is fun to explore. It feels like a desert. The music is great. And it just feels like its own vibe for the chapter. Like, I feel like I've entered a completely different... like something like a desert, but a desert that hasn't just like copy and pasted from another RPG. Whereas I feel like a couple of these other chapters just feel like I've already played them before. Chapter 1 is like one of those because it is just a basic ground level. I mean, it's still fun, but it's just B for me. But it feels like its own identity, even though it is a desert, and I'm happy for that. There are a lot of deserts in RPGs that I'm just like, get me out of here, get me on to the next interesting dungeon, next plot point. But here I was like, this is fun. And that town is probably honestly my favorite town in the game. I mean, Toad Town is the best because, you know, it's Toad Town, but like, I honestly really do like it. It's just its own feel. The whole part where you have to find out how to get to the hidden I don't even know what the dungeon is called anymore. It's blanking, but I really do like that dungeon. But just getting to that dungeon, it has its own feel. There's like a fun like little mystery that you have to get to go there. And I just love that desert town. I like that you can get enchanted with and get like that bonus from that one magician. I don't remember. They all have M names, and it's totally not okay. But I really do like this whole desert, and it's a blast. The dungeon isn't my favorite. It might be keeping me like S tier. It is a good dungeon. Actually, it is one of the best dungeons. But it is not my favorite. I really do like this whole chapter. There are a couple little things that I don't love, like the mystery's a little underwhelming, and it's just not as good. It's not as interesting. It is a desert. It is a very good desert, but it's still a desert, and it's not as good as the two I'm going to be putting in S tier, but I still love this chapter. One of my favorite chapters in the game, for sure. Chapter 3, speaking of favorite chapters, is my all-time favorite chapter in this game. I love the Forever Forest. It's fun to be able to like discover where you need to go. I really do like, I mean, some are like, some types of things where it's like you're getting lost in a forest are really boring, but sometimes it's just awesome. I love it. Looking at you, Sticker Star, for the boring forest that you get lost in, but there are a lot of fun ones. I was just playing a forest that I got lost in Final Fantasy Dimensions just earlier today. But like, I really love the Forever Forest. Just trying to figure out where you need to go is fun. Then going to the Booze Mansion. I always love the Booze Mansion levels in any Mario game, even Sticker Star. Actually, that one is one of my favorites, to be honest. I might like that better than this one. Unpopular opinion. There's just more that happens there. Or like the one in Color Splash looks fun. I haven't got around to playing that game yet. But anyway, I love the Booze Mansion levels. I loved that part. But then after that, it just gets even better. When it's like, oh my gosh, Bo is like, guys, these boos are getting eaten. I'm like, oh dang. So then we go through this like fun road, and we get to Tubba Blubba's castle or whatever. And that is like one of my favorite dungeons. It is an awesome dungeon. Then just like getting chased by him is a blast. Having to escape, fighting the boss, but then he's invincible, and then finding the way he's like not invincible anymore. It's all super fun. Dodging the Clubba guards is super fun. Just everything about this chapter for me is super fun. I don't really know what there is to say that I don't really like about this chapter. I mean, sometimes, like, I would try to hide and it wouldn't work, and then I would have to go back to the beginning. I do think it was a little excessive having to go back to the beginning, but it did make it feel more like punish you for failing. So yeah, it was that might be my only qualm with the chapter, but like everything about this chapter was fun for me other than that. It was just a blast to go through. I absolutely adored this chapter. And yeah, let's move on to chapter 4, which is a solid chapter. I'm going to put it in B tier below the first chapter. It is really fun. I love the toy box vibe. It's cute. It's fun. The Shy Guy enemies are really unique and cool, and the anti-guy is a fun fight. I would say the boss of this chapter is very much forgettable. This was a guy in a box or whatever. I honestly preferred the big lantern ghost fight. I thought that was a lot more interesting, getting Watt out of there. It was really fun. I just think it was very backtracking heavy, and if you don't have a guide, this could take a lot longer than it needed to. It was also one of the shortest chapters. There weren't multiple areas. And, I mean, if you didn't have a guide, it felt like it lasted forever, but not in a good way. But if you do have a guide, it is a short and sweet chapter that is fun, but there is some backtracking if you don't have a guide. And this is backtracking in general. And backtracking is never very fun. Paper Mario games, there's a lot of backtracking, especially, mostly in Thousand Year Door, but I don't love the backtracking parts of this. And it's just solid. I don't think there's anything that like particularly stood out. I did like the vibe of it, but other than that, and the enemies were fun, but there was nothing that made me feel like I really wanted to keep playing the chapter. Watt, though, is the best partner. Fight me. That is my favorite part about the chapter is Watt, but not personality-wise, but in battle. I did like this chapter, but I didn't love it. So yeah. Let's move on. All right, here's where things get very unpopular for me. I'm going to go C tier for Chapter 5. I honestly didn't love this chapter that much. I mean, maybe it's I played Thousand Year Door first. It has nothing to me on Keelhaul Key. It's just there's no Flavio, there's no Cortez, there's no Lord Crump. There's yes, there's Yoshis. But if I want Yoshis, I'm going to play a game where I can actually play as a Yoshi. Thousand Year Door. The Yoshis are fun, but also my least favorite part of this entire game was finding those Yoshis. It pissed me off. It was so boring. I was just lost. I was having a midlife crisis. And when I died after getting all the Yoshis, I was just done with this chapter. I actually stopped playing the game for a couple weeks because I was just done with these gosh dang Yoshis. And that might have been just a bad experience on my part. But also, the journey just wasn't as good as in Thousand Year Door. I absolutely loved the Chapter 5 in Thousand Year Door. It's my second favorite chapter in the game, behind Glitzville. And I really loved that. But, here, it's just, I was comparing it to that the whole time. I was really mad at the dang Yoshis. And yes, the volcano was fun. I really did like the volcano. But honestly, another unpopular opinion here, and this I literally don't know. I don't know. I honestly had more fun with the World 5 in Sticker Star. The cheap chasing down after the raft. If I'm saying that it's worse than Sticker Star, I don't like it very much, okay? And I just didn't like this chapter that much. I mean, the volcano was fun, but it just, a lot of it was just it felt like Chapter 2, that one, I don't even know what it's called, Mount Rugged. It felt kind of like Mount Rugged, but with lava. And it wasn't as good as the Keelhaul Key. There's no boats and stuff. And it was just, honestly, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't love this chapter that much. I do like the whale. The whale is fun. Not as good as, and it's just, Sushi is a good partner in battle, but it's just comparing it to Chapter 5 in Thousand Year Door, or, it's just hard to even like this chapter that much when you don't have the whole story of Admiral Bobbery, or you don't have, it's just there's the Yoshis pissed me off, and it was just a volcano. I don't have a special attachment. To me, it was just a volcano, and there's nothing else to say. I did like Colorado is fun. He's no Flavio, though. And I did like the boss, although it did come out of nowhere. But honestly, PD Piranha was more fun in Sticker Star. I liked that boss better. It was a solid boss fight. And here, I mean, it's just a lot of, like, Sushi using water attacks, and that's this whole chapter for me. I don't really know. Don't click off this video, please. Let's move on. I do like... I mean, this is Paper Mario. I love this series. I still do like this chapter. It's not a bad dungeon, but just... It's just hard when I'm used to Keelhaul Key, and I also just... I don't know. It just felt like a more generic jungle. Like, I love this desert. It felt like its own identity, but this just felt like a jungle with a... Like, heck... If I want to play a good, like, jungle level, I would rather play Kirby's Epic Yarn. Love that game. I need to play that again. But best Kirby game, for sure. But anyway, enough about that. I just don't love this that much. But I understand why other people like it a lot. I don't know. I know people love that volcano, and I do love the end of it, the part where it's like you're escaping in Colorado. It's like, where's my treasure? And then, yeah, that part's fun. But I honestly just don't love this chapter that much. And if you do, kudos to you. I'm glad you loved it. I really am glad you loved it. And I see why people love it, but it's just not my favorite. All right, moving on to Flower Fields, which I am putting above Chapter 5. And I know that that's making some people mad, but I'm just doing it because it's how I feel. There is a lot of backtracking, let me get that out of the way. But the flowers have personality, which is something that's lacking in a couple of the chapters in this game. Not all of them, but there's a lot of lack of personality in some of the chapters in this game. And I think Chapter 5 is one of those. Other than Colorado, but he's just a fake Flavio. He's just a worse Flavio, in my opinion, honestly. But anyway, these flowers have a lot of personality. I do like the whole like finding the berries. That's fun. I really love the way you actually get to the chapter. It is they are able to make just a field of like grass super fun. It's in the sky. There's flowers. I really do like the Huff and Puff fight is one of the best bosses in the game. It is a really fun chapter when it is fun. But the enemies, there are a little bit too many enemies for me, and there are not enough variety in the enemies, so that kind of drove me crazy. The backtracking drove me crazy. That one flower drove me crazy. She's like, oh, I'm the prettiest thing ever. She should burn to crisp. She was really annoying. But, yeah, there's just a lot of backtracking, a lot of... a little bit too many enemies for me. But other than that, it was a very solid chapter. I really loved the vibe. I liked most of the flowers. And it was fun. It was very unique. And I did like that part of it. There was a whole lot of backtracking, though. And that maze was kind of annoying. You know what? Now I'm having my doubts. You know, I'm actually going to switch these two. I'm making a decision. I'm going to switch those two because I feel like they both have backtracking, but Flower Fields is just more unique to me. I mean, yes, a toy box is unique, but they were able to make something not unique. And that is, I'm going to give them kudos for that. And the flowers and the Huff and Puff fight is leagues ahead of the general guy fight. So you know what? Yeah, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to have to write that down for the future because I'm going to make a list ranking all the chapters in Paper Mario, 1000 Year Door, and Super Paper Mario combined. And eventually, once I've played all the Paper Mario games, I will do that too. But, yeah, anyway. I do like Flower Fields, though. It's fun. And Lackluster does have some personality, which is lacking from, like, Sushi and Watt. So, yeah, it is a very good... Actually, yeah, I really do like this chapter. It's solid. I think B tier is... Yeah, both the Fields chapters, putting them right here. I think that's fair. This game, though, I don't know, 4, 5, and 6, that middle section kind of lost me a little bit. But it is still good. But just comparing it to, like, 1000 Year Door always that just I feel like this game is too much like Thousand Year Door for me not to compare. 4, 5, and 6 are phenomenal chapters in that game. I put them all in S tier on my ranking. I mean, I put most of the game in S tier, but yeah, I will just say that it's hard. It's hard. I just didn't love this chapter as much as these chapters, but it was still fun. Yeah. Anyway, but then the game totally came back full circle with chapter 7 and 8, and I was really glad. Chapter 7 is an S tier chapter. The whole detective thing is fun. There's 3 different towns, I believe, right? Yeah, 3 different towns. 3? 2? 3? Are there 3? Yeah, I think there are 3 different towns. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, yeah, there's a bunch of different towns. The enemies are fun. Cooper gets to shine. The whole detective thing with the penguins. I mean, it wasn't as fun as Pennington, but it was still cool. I was like, what is happening? So it goes from like a murder mystery to a fun trek through snow. And this is one time I will say this trek through snow is better than Far Outpost. I don't say Paper Mario, OG Paper Mario is better than Thousand Year Door in many places, but here it is definitely better. Definitely a better snow area. We get to see some background on like the star guys, which is nice, the star spirits. And we also, and that final, like the Crystal King is an amazing boss fight. The Dupla Ghost are my favorite enemies in the game. And that Crystal Palace is really just unique. I mean, taking mirrors and putting them in a dungeon isn't the most unique thing, but the execution was phenomenal. And it wasn't as fun as Chapter 3 for me. I know most people say Chapter 7 is the best, and I fully understand that. I had a hard time picking between 3 and 7. I do think 7 is probably the most well-crafted chapter, but 3 is just a personal favorite of mine, so I had to put it there. But Chapter 7 is phenomenal. There's just so much in it. There's a nice... Just the best chapters usually have a nice town, a nice trek to the dungeon, and a good dungeon. And that's exactly what this chapter did, and it was super fun. The Crystal King wasn't the most unique boss fight. It wasn't like teased beforehand. That is one thing I love about 3, because there's an ever-looming presence of who you're going to fight the whole time. And that is what I love about Chapter 6 too. Chapter 6 had my second favorite story of the chapters. Actually, no, Chapter 8 exists. Third favorite. It had a good story. I like, just when it comes to like, oh, there's a presence, like there's a boss that we actually care about fighting, whereas here it's like, oh, there's a king and he's made of crystal, let's fight him. Here, like, there's the Tubba Blubba, and I think that is better, but here it's still a very fun chapter overall, and it is executed very well. Alright, let's move on to Chapter 8, which I am going to put in... I am putting it here. It's the end of the game. It is very solid. The Bowser fights are very fun. The Junior Troopa fight is actually surprisingly fun. I'm sad we didn't get the Koopa Bros. I like the emptiness that you feel in Peach's castle. Like, it just sets up the vibe. It is a very good, like, hallway to the final boss. Bowser's castle is solid. It really makes good use of all your partners. I mean, sometimes it feels tedious, but the enemies are honestly, I mean, they're hard, but they're very fun to fight. There's some good variety there in the enemies, and it is a very solid final dungeon. It's still not as good as the Thousand Year Door for me, the final dungeon there. Definitely not as good as Super Paper Mario, that has the best of the final dungeons, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure I'm almost positive that's what I said. I better have said that when I ranked them. I'm going to check real fast. Super Paper Mario, better. Yep, good. I'm glad I put that. Super Paper Mario is the best final dungeon, hands down. But this is a good final dungeon. It's solid. Like, the Bowser fights are fun. They were a little easy, I will admit. But this was a very fun dungeon and a very fun chapter. Great closing to the game. Not as fun as the ones in S tier, and it's hard. I don't really know which one. If this is the end of the game, so I'm putting it above here. But these are both like neck and neck for me. They are both very fun chapters, and overall, I love this game. And anything like B and C doesn't mean bad. D and F mean bad, and only one chapter is in D tier in this game. So I honestly really did love this chapter and this game. All the chapters were really fun, and Paper Mario is a great series. Thank you guys all for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Please comment what videos you'd like to see next. Any RPG's fine. Just give me an RPG video. Or not an RPG even. I don't only make RPG videos. But just give me a suggestion down in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more RPG content. Thank you all for watching. Please tell me your own tier list down below, because I would love to hear what you think is different. Because I know everyone's not going to say Chapter 5 is the worst, because it... Yeah. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, RPG nerds!